have this type of setup, especially for predominantly a very tech conversation. And sort of my response to that was that there is this desire to, again, to get as much as you can out of this cryptocurrency. There's new technology. However, in our pursuit, we shouldn't leave people behind, right? And the reason I went with sort of this design, this set, was sort of to ground it, to remind us that this is a revolution more than anything. And in a revolution, the aim is not a selfish aim. It's an aim to sort of transform what was. And in that transformation, we need to consider those that might not comprehend the jargon, the vocabulary that we might be using, especially in this conference, right? Most of these people who would benefit from the information of today might not even have the ability to comprehend the information of today, right? So in our advancement, in our innovation, in the way we are thinking about how this thing could sort of spread, it is very important to consider who it is spreading for, right? It is very important to consider, and also to remember the point of access. So I brought this set as a reminder that in its spreading, it should also consider those that might not even have, the slightest concept of what crypto is, or what Bitcoin is, right? And yeah, and I say this also as an introduction to the short presentation of poetry that I'm about to give, written by someone rather, who sort of share the sentiment of these people you might find in these homes like these, which I'm the person. So I will be listening attentively to see if what you guys will be talking about in any way sort of considers these individuals from across the world, whether it's in Soweto, Kayalicha, whether it's in El Salvador, Mexico. There are people like this who could benefit very much from this information, right? Good. It's a very weird way to start a poem. I hardly ever talk on stage, but this is my second year performing here, and I always find it important to bring everybody along with me because of the importance of the work here. I remember Cedric, my neighbor. I could tell you about his ways. I could tell you about how prison was his second home. Every time he returned with a different scar, we whispered stories about how many men he might have killed. This could easily be a poem about gangsters we call uncles, but instead it's about dancing. And man, he danced. He would take our speakers, which we call the gram, he would place them at the gate for all to witness. If he could play them any louder, Lord have mercy on mothers with sleeping babies. His taste was regained. He would dance shirtless with his chest exposed like a guitar, his ribs for strings. In one hand, he held a bottle. He danced with it like his lover. With every kiss, she weakened his knees as they danced to the clicking and the clapping of a Lucky Dube song or a Peter Tosh tune. I remember Paul and Judith, front opposite. I could tell you about how some mornings it vividly last night's scream and how all, I'm going to try it. Okay, thank you, there's a mic coming. I remember Paul and Judith. I could tell you about how some mornings and bruises painted vividly last night's screams and how Paul is in hospital because she fought him again. But this is about dancing, and man, they danced. They danced as though they borrowed each other bones, and neither skeleton could fit within the skin. You should have seen how they adjusted each other. They held each other like eggs Eggs they would later scramble, but right now they're dance partners. As bongo muffins start to boo calm these two tornadoes into whirlwinds, as their feet commanded dust to rise. I remember Bra Oba, an old timer. If the 80s were a person, a short, bald-headed man, clean, dressed in a brand new too big for his size, kind of like me. His shoes were so shiny, the sun dared not look at them. He spoke fluently, as though his bars brought him this, as though his bars brought him that. These were rumors by jealous men that did not ask for Opa, especially when he is dancing. He fancied jazz. He danced like he had ants in his pants, a puppeteer of his own feet. You should have seen how he slithered across the room. He moved like something was pulling him. And when the keys came, he danced with his fingers like he knew the pianist personally, like he helped to write the notes. Praoba. And I remember Auntie Selena, corner house. I could tell you about how she never stopped cleaning her house every Sunday, spotless, hoping that maybe her husband will return from exile. How she refused to accept that this freedom, he is the price we paid for it. But this is about dancing. And man, she danced. She danced slowly, as though the very hands of time held her around the waist. She danced slowly, moved carefully. She missed him. She will not admit it, but we all know she missed him. Man, I remember how they danced. And it is in that dancing, it is in that moment, it is in that surrender that I invite you guys into their homes. Thank you so much.
What an amazing poem, what an amazing poem by Masai. One more round of applause, please, for that great poem. This is one of the beautiful things about Birthway. We always